There are all sorts of reasons for paying a call at Vienna's Schoenbrunn Palace. In addition to the obligatory visit inside the building, you may simply want to stroll around the grounds and admire the outside architecture and the stylized gardens. Another powerful drawing card is the Schoenbrunn Zoo. Anybody who remembers the zoo only as it existed years ago will find a whole new ballgame going on there now. The trend nowadays is away from cages and narrow confinement and into wide open spaces, as near to how nature herself wanted it to be as is compatible with modern zoo management. The kids of today who visit the zoo are no longer shown wild animals that are put on exhibit like so many articles in a museum. Instead, they become part of a scene in which they themselves are made to feel as companions to the animals. They can applaud when they see one of them perform, even as they might do during a show put on by human beings. The modernization of the Schoenbrunn Zoo can only be rightly estimated when we cast a look back upon the very first zoo to be established in Vienna. This occurred in 1452, over 500 years ago. The location of it was in the deep defensive moat or ditch that surrounded the city walls and was designed as an added hindrance to any hostile force attacking the city. We can judge the care and affection extended on the animals included in this zoo when we learn that a mere 10 years later, in 1462, all interest in keeping them alive had vanished and the zoo was disbanded. The animals were killed, and those fit for human consumption were salted and preserved. The bill for this slaughter and the salting are still on hand in the archives of Vienna. Yes, there has been a radical change in attitude towards our fellow creatures. We no longer look upon these polar bears, for instance, as dangerous enemies that we have captured and put under our control and can do what we want with, as punishment for the terror that their very presence has instilled in us. And these camels, how we love to see them happy with their daily ration of fresh greens. We may even congratulate ourselves for having rescued them from the harsh desert environment of their native home and given them a new life of ease and comfort. A further example of the new freedom is demonstrated in the case of these original wild horses that once roamed the high mountain steppeland of Mongolia. They are the ancestors of all our present domesticated horses, in the many and various forms into which they have been diversified. The Schoenbrunn Zoo has joined in a worldwide effort to breed enough of these horses to permit them to be reintroduced into their original highland habitat. Another feature of the changing scene is the cohabitation in the same enclosure of several quite different species. Here we have the pert little creatures which in Austria are called Erdmännchen, as though they were dwarf human beings, living in harmony with some monkeys. There is no longer a question here of the rigid segregation of the species. In learning to put up with one another under zoo conditions, they not only are helped to keep on the alert themselves, but provide an added attraction for the visitors. In our age of multicultural societies, we may well spend a while at the Schoenbrunn Zoo, learning how our brothers in the animal world go about it.